It's lights out. And away we go for lightweight, split two. Pole Sitter gets away well, and it seems that third place there gets ahead of the second place driver. Both of those positions are on the inside, and if the outside line doesn't get a good start, well then you can be vulnerable, as we've just seen. They navigate turn 3 safely. Are we going to make it through the first lap without any incidents? So the Pole Sitter from third place now looking to get onto the back bumper of the leader, who felt they have to defend turn 5 as they wind up towards turn 6. It's deceptively tight. Make sure they all get on the brakes. Everybody needs a little bit of warming, as there is a driver off into the grass, losing a few positions. Cold brakes, cold tyres, trying to turn when there's nothing underneath them, and yet more contact, more loading going into turn 7. Arms raised from Raj Kulal, not happy about the driving standards into that corner. But now the mid-pack and the leaders wind their way into the final sector as we just start to get some heat into these tyres. We get some pace going. Kart 118, 121, 117, 110. Easy on the brakes into the final corner, and we will see the positions after lap 1. So we have, as they hurtle through turn 1, rising to 70 miles an hour, we have David Gaskin from Brad Whitehouse, heavyweight Sonny Zacharias, Thomas Hughes, Chris Phillips, Lewis Middleton, Amelia Charlesworth, the second Lewis of Lewis Blench, the third Lewis of Lewis Ashforth, Andreas Dimitrides, and Lewis Jolly, the fourth Lewis, and then Joel Metcalf and Raj Kulal rounds off the grid. So it seems the leader, David Gaskin, has started to ease away from Brad Whitehouse, who's easing away from Sonny Zacharias in fourth. I've just been joined by Josh Wynn. Hello. Would you like the microphone back? Not right now? Oh, okay, I get more time on the mic. Right. So David Gaskin setting a 58.0 on the first lap with cold tyres, and it seems a very close pack now. So it's Gaskin from Whitehouse, Zacharias from Hughes, Phillips, Middleton, Charlesworth, Blench, Ashforth, Dimitrides, Jolly, Metcalf and Kulal in 13th. Not a great start from Raj Kulal, but no, it's a 56.6 ahead of a 56.8 from Gaskin. That gap just building to around a second now, and as they wind towards turn 3, you can see just how much that is when you're travelling at 70 miles an hour. The gaps really do open up and close up depending on where you are on this track. It's very deceiving. You never know how far behind someone truly is before they go past you at Daytona Tamworth. So now we wind through turn 5 up towards turn 6. This up and down undulating nature of the track, very interesting. Lots of elevation going on, lots of tricks in the braking to go faster, and it seems that the gap between Gaskin and Whitehouse just opening up slightly, but there's still lots of battling going on between Zacharias and Hughes and Middleton over third place. We may see the move down the inside from Hughes, I believe, to get up and down the inside, yes, of Zacharias. They make the move, but there's more side by side, as that, I believe, is the 109 of Lewis Middleton getting pushed off the track onto the sound of the exit, the final corner, and yes, he goes down to 6th place in and amongst all that fighting. So it's Thomas Hughes who gets off best ahead of Zacharias, and there was a move from Amelia Charlesworth to get into 5th place, and it pushes Lewis Middleton off the track. We'll see what the stewards have to say about that. It seems that Kart 118, that is our leader, David Gaskin, has a track limits warning, and you do not want to be making those sorts of mistakes when you're out in front. Just control the race, don't make any sort of mistakes. No need to do anything daft. So Gaskin leads the way from Whitehouse. He has the fastest lap of the race for around 2/10. That builds the gap between him and first to about 1.1 seconds, as the battles still rage there from Lewis Middleton, Chris Phillips, Lewis Blench, Lewis Ashforth, Lewis and Lewis in the mid-pack as they scrap over what I believe is 4th, 5th, 6th place. But all the pack is very, very close here, as, that is the 117 of Sonny Zacharias, who has somehow said for a second he was up in first place, but no, he's lost the place down into 6th as he was sliding out of the final corner, and I turned my head, we're already past turn 3. So it's Thomas Hughes in 3rd from Amelia Charlesworth in 4th, Lewis Middleton making up places, Sonny Zacharias losing it down in 6th, and then it's Chris Phillips, Lewis Blench and Lewis Ashforth. Those 3 drivers, Sonny, Chris and Lewis, separated by 3/10. Insanity. These 3 cannot be separated for anything, but it's David Gaskin controlling this race out in front. He's now set a 56.4. He's grown his advantage by another half a second, and you can see he's just easing away from 2nd place, as it's Amelia Charlesworth fighting off attacks from Lewis Middleton. He has to take the wider line and cut back, but into the final corner now. Charlesworth all under pressure from Middleton. He's going to get the slipstream all the way down the back straight. Climbs to nearly 80 miles an hour with the slipstream and a decent kart, And Middleton is going to be sizing up an attack into turn 4. Does he get the exit? No, not quite. Charlesworth is going to be safe for another lap. But third place Thomas Hughes just starting to build that gap. If these two fight, they're going to lose a shot at the podium. Middleton thinking about moving down the outside. No, Charlesworth covers it off. And it is Hughes from Charlesworth, from Middleton, from Zacharias, from Phillips, Blench, Ashforth in 9th. But it's David Gaskin leading the way from Brad Whitehouse. That gap has now grown to over 2 seconds. Gaskin in control of his car, in control of this race. As you can see, raised arms from, I believe that's Middleton, who has got past Charlesworth, just as I've been looking at other places. He's pointing forward, says, we can get this podium if you work with me, but if you don't work with me, if we ram each other off the track, well, neither of us is going to score very many points, as Charlesworth seems to lose some grip through the last corner. Now she's under pressure from the heavyweight, Sonny Zacharias, but it's Middleton who's now hunting Thomas Hughes, as David Gaskin says a 56.2. It is in fact Middleton who is the second fastest man on track, 56.4. He's just set his lap that is half a second faster than his rival ahead of him, and he'll be looking to go for a move as soon as possible to get after Brad Whitehouse, who he is also showing some pace dominance over. But no, Gaskin seems untouchable out in front. That gap is over 3 seconds. He's the fastest man on track. Middleton having to settle behind through the middle sector, losing the rear a little bit. He's going to look to carry the speed through the kink into the final sector, under braking. Oh, losing the rear a little bit, and that's letting Charlesworth back into the fight. She's managed to pull away from Zacharias through the middle sector, as you'd expect, a lightweight versus a heavyweight. When he says heavyweight, he should be in the lightweight race. Why is it saying heavyweight, this thing? Anyway, so all the drivers jumping in their seats to get the acceleration, and we head down towards turn 3. It was looking for a moment that Middleton was going to be going after Thomas Hughes in 3rd, but now David Gaskin sets the fastest lap of the race, and we find ourselves in the same situation. Someone's gone off. Amelia, yeah, it seems that found herself in the same situation that Amelia has made her way past Lewis Middleton. She was setting the fastest lap, 56.2, before Gaskin extended the margin to 56.0. He is always pushing that boundary out in front. He is extending his advantage. And now it's Charlesworth who's setting off after Thomas Hughes. Thomas Hughes coming under all sorts of pressure from whoever happens to be in 4th at the time. But if they can work together, they can get a shot at the podium, and they can get a shot maybe even at Brad Whitehouse, who lifts his head up in disappointment. He's not happy with the way he's driving. That gap to David Gaskin has extended to 4.5 seconds, and he's going to come under threat from either Charlesworth or Middleton, depending who can get their act together first and get past Thomas Hughes, because they have such a pace advantage. Charlesworth closes up under braking, but Hughes just slams the doors shut for turn 4. Now they rise up towards turn 5. The left-hander both pretty tidy through there, but Charlesworth all over the back bumper. Is she going to think about the move? No! That is a deceptively tight corner. It really opens up on exit but closes up on entry, so she has to think better of it. That allows Middleton back into the fight as the top two are just wandering away. I'm going to let them do that. Thomas Hughes into the final sector now, and Middleton again putting Charlesworth under all sorts of pressure. These two need to be thinking about the bigger picture. Brad Whitehouse is not putting out the sort of laps that you need to maintain 2nd place, and they'd realise that. They would blast past Thomas Hughes without fighting each other, but they're not going to realise that. They're racing drivers. They'll race whoever they want. And right now, even though those two are the fastest guys on track, behind, of course, David Gaskin, our race leader, now only over 5 seconds ahead, they haven't managed to organise themselves in a way that gets past Thomas Hughes, but she closes up right under braking. That might compromise her exit as Middleton falls back just slightly. Charlesworth all over the back of Thomas Hughes. He has to notice that there's a driver right behind him as she thinks about another move, but she can't make it stick again. That corner really closes up. It's quite hard to make it stick on the inside without losing a lot of momentum. Now through the left-hander up towards the kink into the final sector, and really closing up in the race. You can see how much confidence Charlesworth has on entry there, as Middleton just starting to fall back. It seems that this is the part of the track where Charlesworth has the advantage. This is where she's going to press on, carry maybe a little bit too much momentum into the second to last corner, but a very nice exit. That's going to put her all over Thomas Hughes' back bumper, as the gap to David Gaskin out in front increases to 5.3 seconds. Charlesworth needs to orchestrate an attack. She needs to go past Thomas Hughes now, as we have 2 minutes remaining in this race. Will Hughes be able to hold on to 3rd? That will be a fantastic effort fending off attacks from Charlesworth and Middleton throughout this race. Middleton just beginning to drop back now, as we can see the battle for 7th place between Chris Phillips and Lewis Ashworth. Very, very hard fought over the line. They're half a tenth apart, basically side by side. And oh, that is a move! That is a move down the inside from, I believe, Lewis Jolly on Andreas Demetriades. A healthy dose of contact just for good measure, but he makes his way through into, I believe, his 10th place. But just as much aggression in the back of the pack as we've seen at the front. As there's 1 minute remaining, we're about to go on to the last lap of the race. David Gaskin, he could probably do the rest of this race with his eyes closed. He has such the margin. He can enjoy the lovely view here at Daytona Tamworth. And in 2nd place, Brad Whitehouse. Even though he hasn't quite had the pace of those behind him, the fighting, the meddling in everybody else's affairs has been going on behind him, has allowed him just to extend his advantage, as maybe even going a little bit wide there, but it's not going to matter. We are approaching, I believe, what's going to be the final lap of the race very, very soon. As, that is Middleton down the inside of Amelia Charlesworth. Maybe there was a little bit of contact there that I didn't quite see, but it was a very aggressive move into the final sector. Charlesworth is going to have to live with it for now, but it's not quite the last lap, or it's not being shown as the last lap as of right now, as David Gaskin crosses the line with his best lap of the race of 56.037, absolutely astronomical pace from the lightweights, as Thomas Hughes is in 3rd and from Lewis Middleton ahead now of Amelia Charlesworth. She is going to have to get that place back because the timer is nearly done, and she does not want to lose those precious points in the Drivers' Championship, as Thomas Hughes now able to extend his gap even further from 4th and 5th place. And no, I think this really is the story of the race, with Hughes just hanging like bait ahead of 4th and 5th, Middleton and Charlesworth, and they haven't been able to decide who wants to go after him. And consequently, none of them have gone after him. He's been left loose in 3rd place. Now he's hunting down Brad Whitehouse, who again has just been dropped by David Gaskin. Supreme performance from our leader, who enters now, yes, the last lap of the race, as Brad Whitehouse now rounds the final corner ahead of Thomas Hughes. Thomas Hughes looks a little bit disappointed. He knows he needs to make the move now, but he might be just a little bit too far back. He's over half a second away from Brad Whitehouse. He needs to gain that half a second and make the move before the checkered flag falls. So David Gaskin from currently Brad Whitehouse, Thomas Hughes, Lewis Middleton, Amelia Charlesworth, Chris Phillips, Sonny Zacharias, who is probably not a heavyweight even though he shows them why he's green, Lewis Ashworth, Lewis Jolly, Lewis Blench, the 3 Lewises in 8th, 9th and 10th, Andreas Demetriades, Joel Metcalf and Raj Kular round off the grid on the last lap. So while there was plenty of fighting for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, David Gaskin rounds the final corner now. Supreme pace, a supreme performance. He wins lightweight split 2, the first race of the afternoon, from Brad Whitehouse, from Thomas Hughes, who looks a little bit disappointed over the line. Same with Lewis Middleton. Amelia Charlesworth comes home in 5th place from Chris Phillips, Sonny Zacharias. Oh no, Lewis Ashworth gets past Sonny. I'm a little bit disappointed now. We don't have 3 Lewises in a row. It's Lewis, Sonny, Lewis, Lewis. That's annoying. Why couldn't Lewis Middleton just be a little bit slower, than we could have 4 Lewises in a row? That would have been funny. But no, as Andreas Demetriades finished 11th, Joel Metcalf in 12th, and Raj Kular in 13th. So congratulations to our winner, David Gaskin, and our podium sitters, Brad Whitehouse, Thomas Hughes, and commiserations to the rest of you. Great battling out there. So, David, that was an incredible performance leading from the front. How are you feeling after that?
I'm feeling all right. It was pretty easy in the end. Just got out in front and then just churned out the laps, mate. Just got it done. Really, wasn't really much hardship.
You were exceptionally consistent. You were enjoying the sun out here at Daytona Tamworth. Really not much pressure. I'll tell you, there was some pretty good battling behind, but you really weren't involved in any of it.
That's probably why I managed to get away. If they're battling behind, I was able to get a nice clean start, get out in front, and then looking forward to the next race, get a bit of battling and see what happens. I think I'll go up to split 1. I think with that, I think with the win, so should be quite a bit tougher.
Yeah, I was about to ask about split 1. Are you excited?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. That'll be great. A bit more battling. I'll start at the back, I think, if that works out. So try and work my way through the pack, see how it goes.
But that's where the most fun is, at the back of the pack, isn't it? Thank you very much, David. Great race.
Thank you.